Hello and welcome back to the Pit Wall Podcast, where this week we're going to be breaking down the British Grand Prix and also some outside news, which has been
very
shocking the Formula One world.
Yeah, I mean, this race included lots of amazing things. 2 Brits on the podium. McLaren is back. I was there, and Max won or something. I don't know. Yeah, but before we get into it, let's go ahead and do a quali in 60 because it was quite the exciting. I can't talk qualifying. I just want to go ahead and specify really fast that I got back from England 4 days ago or 3 days ago. And I have a cold. Thanks a lot. This is my gift. So if I sound normal right now, but I think it's going to fluctuate quite a bit. So anyway, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right. So first thing in the bottom 5 included Checo Perez for the 5th time in a row. Also, both AlphaTauris down there, which will be significant. K-Mag, P19, and an Alfa Romeo down there. Valtteri Bottas got through, but ended up not being classified because of not having enough fuel and stopping on track. Logan Sargent made it through and ended up P14. Esteban Ocon was in there. Lance Stroll P12, kind of a weird place for Aston Martin. Alpine making a top 10 appearance with Pierre Gasly. Fernando Alonso P9. Albon P8, man of the year right there. Bad day for Mercedes P6, P7. Decent day for Ferrari, P4, P5, and then McLaren, a 2 and 3 with Max Verstappen in pole. Absolutely incredible in front of their home crowd. So,
you're getting better at this, man.
I know,
you're
that
getting
was a good one.
Lower and lower before the 60-second mark.
Right, welcome back to quali in 10 seconds.
Dude, I was ecstatic when Lando crossed that finish line and he shot up to freaking provisional pole.
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh.
I'm going to talk a little bit about my experiences there. Obviously, I wore the Silverstone merch that I got. I'm going to do a whole extra solo episode where I just talk about like what it's like being there because I could take up a whole like 2 hours about it. But I want to talk about F1, like the sport right now. Yeah. But I will say 2 highlights from being there during qualifying. Obviously, Q1 was crazy. There was rain. It was wet. Yeah. It was the times kept improving. Checo not getting it. So actually 3 highlights. So first thing, when Max pulls out of the pit and he hits the wall with his front wing, the crowd went nuts.
I don't doubt it.
Everybody was so happy. And then that freaking jerk goes and does pole like later. It was because it looked like Lando might get pole.
Yeah.
And that was the second moment was everybody freaking out. And then the third thing was when Checo didn't make Q2, I was ahead of it. I was like, Checo's not going to make it. Mm-hmm. And then like the crowd like murmuring started happening. And then it was like, when because the stadium announcer said like, and Checo will miss out. Like everybody lost their freaking minds. Oh, man. So that was incredible. That made the whole trip worth it. When Max hit the wall, which I could see, by the way, because I should mention that my seat was directly looking at the Brad Pitt, like fake pit wall and team, which I also saw on track. It was unbelievable. And then right next to them was Lewis's pit. So every time Mercedes came in and out, I saw them every time.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so like, and every time they came out, the crowd would cheer, like every single time. It was awesome. So it was very like, last time I was at a race was Red Bull fan section. So I feel healed now. So, because it was just
the universe has equalized for you.
Even people cheering for McLaren were wearing Mercedes merch for the most part. Like it was just Mercedes merch, a sea of it. It was incredible. It was incredible. It's how F1 is meant to be.
Oh, dude, I have to say that while you were very happy, I was very sad about Checo missing Q2.
Yeah.
I mean, I put this in my notes when we talk about Red Bull, which I guess we can go ahead and start.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'm going to start with Checo. So like you said, another missed Q2. Red Bull came out and said Checo's not in the hot seat. He's good. I don't believe a word of it.
Me neither.
I don't believe a single word of it because
me neither.
It's Red Bull. That number 2 seat is the most, it's a hot seat, I guess, for a reason. No one is going to be comfortable in that second seat at Red Bull.
Yeah.
No matter even if you're performing, I don't think you can feel comfortable in that seat. You have to be like basically right behind Max to feel comfortable.
And he's not. He's
nowhere close.
He's looking like at this rate he could lose P2 in the championship. Like I'm starting to get a feeling
like last year.
Like there's an actual chance that Lewis or Alonso, and it's looking like Lewis right now in this current phase, will get P2, which would just be insane. And I said it earlier in the season. I was like, if he doesn't get P2, it's a failure, like just a massive failure.
He's in the Red Bull car, which is the fastest out of anything on the grid, like not even close.
It has the biggest gap of any F1 car in the history.
And he finishes P6.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just...
It qualifies P16.
Yeah. It's insane. Like...
It's just disappointing. I mean, like I said, I wanted Checo to win the championship.
Yeah, we were rooting for him for the championship earlier in the season, and now we're like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah, boot him out. So, I don't want to wait to talk about this Red Bull stuff. Like, let's just jump right into it. Why don't you tell us what happened to poor old Nick DeVries?
Okay, well, Nick DeVries is out of AlphaTauri, and in his place is the honey badger, Daniel Ricciardo.
So this happened while I was on the plane, people. Like, come on.
The F1 world exploded when Nick was on his plane. He came home to so much stuff.
So when I landed, my phone, like, it took a minute to reset to American stuff, and then it literally lagged. Like, literally so many people text me about it and tweets and stuff. My phone lost 10% battery life. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Like, this is a new phone. My phone lost 10% battery life just catching up on the notifications.
Oh my gosh.
But and like it almost cost me many things. It made it harder for me to get through customs. Like so many things happened because of this. So I'm not saying Nick DeVries has it worse. I'm just saying I'm just saying it was insane. So sorry, go ahead.
This also means that I get to cover Daniel Ricciardo for the rest of the season.
I was going to talk about that. I know. So Nick hasn't scored any points, right?
Correct.
Yeah, he's last in the championship.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to say, you lose his points, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't.
But it doesn't matter.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
Him and Logan are tied for last.
You're going to beat me by a mile. I think. I want to see what the math would be without Max.
Okay.
I haven't redone it in a while. I just gave up on it. I'm already thinking about what merch I'm going to
Yeah, I mean, the top 3 are all my drivers right now.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Dang it.
Because Alonso.
Come on, Lewis.
Lewis is right behind Alonso.
And P4,
yeah.
Okay, well, so I've been sleuthing the Red Bull leaks because one thing I've learned is you gotta know your enemy. So I'm part of the paddock of Red Bull. Like I know, I've gone deep. All right, so here's the theory. This is not my theory, but this is the overall arching theory of what's going to happen to all of these people. It's very complex, so follow with me. So a month ago, Dr. Marco said Liam Lawson would get Nick DeVries' seat in 4 races time if he sucks. But then they put Daniel Ricciardo in. Why is this? Well, apparently the AlphaTauri car is so bad that they're worried that it would actually hurt his development as a driver. So they want to keep him in Formula Euro for as long as possible, and that it would just screw everything up. Now, the real question is, why is Checo not also in trouble right now? And the only person that could get put into that seat right now that would be ready for it is Yuki, not Daniel Ricciardo, because they don't trust him fully yet. But they've given up on Yuki because Yuki is wanted by Honda when they go to Aston Martin.
That's
so
true.
they've given up on putting him in, like he's lost his slot.
No development for Red Bull.
Yeah, so I think this primes him to take Alonso's seat whenever that happens. Or Stroll if they do what they need to do. So that leaves Daniel Ricciardo in that seat. Now, they did have a plan to put Liam Lawson in that seat maybe next year. So now Ricciardo has to prove over the next half of the season that he deserves that seat full-time next year because it is not his seat.
Yeah.
That seat is open to the world right now. So my theory, and this is where my theory takes in. I think next year Ricciardo has that seat, and it's Ricciardo, Yuki, Checo, and Max. And that's Checo's last year on his contract.
Yeah.
I think this is the last time we will have Checo on the grid.
in 2024.
Yes, and then 2025, it will either Liam Lawson will get his seat, and it's either Ricciardo in there, or we start having a fight over Leclerc and Lando Norris for that, because apparently Red Bull has had a philosophy change on the second seat to where they want it to be two equivalent drivers, because they believe that is the best way to longevity have the best thing, and there's no more support driver. And this is where it gets complicated, because Max is not going to be okay with that, I don't think. No. Like, can you imagine Max and Leclerc on the same team? They're cool, but they're both the same person when it comes to I am the best.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
There's tensions at Ferrari right now over this, but Leclerc has still got the edge.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just laid out a bunch of crap. What do you think?
I think you're actually 100% right.
I called Nick DeVries getting that seat, just for the record, so I'm using my clout, even though he just lost that seat, but it was half right. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm sure Checo's out 2024. Like, I feel like that's just 100% of this.
You mean 2025?
Or at the end of 2024.
Yes,
like end of his contract. Okay. Sorry.
They just said they have no suitable replacement for him right now, and that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So Ricciardo has an actual shot.
Yeah, he does.
To be a Red Bull driver
I want to see Norris.
See,
but I know it just doesn't. It doesn't work out. I feel like.
See, where this all gets really complicated is I always felt like Lando was going to go to Mercedes, and Lewis just said he wants to do at least 5 more years. So that makes it very complicated. He said it at the Silverstone stage when I was there.
We'll probably talk about this later, actually. So I will, because there's some other news when it comes to Lando.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about that when you want to. But anyway, that's my grand theory. That's like the best internet sleuthing I can do. Yeah. It's crazy, though. I really thought we were going to see Lawson come up, and he was ready to drive a while back.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Nick DeVries isn't just not in a seat. He's done. He has no reserve role.
Yeah.
Like, he's
just out.
He's done.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy to me. And they also asked Albon if he wants to come back, and he said no, which is like
to Red Bull.
Yes,
Alpha Tower.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was in his position, I wouldn't either.
He believes in Williams, clearly.
Yeah, Williams wants to keep him for sure.
He's their star.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's a little Red Bull tangent. How was Max's race?
It was a great race, because Red Bull is now tied with McLaren for the most consecutive wins in the sport at 11 in a row.
Lewis has never had 6 in a row.
And Max got his 6th win in a row and 8th win of the season. So it was another Max race.
He was very impressive. I mean, he had every chance to lose that race. And well, when we get to Lando, we'll talk about that.
I can talk about him next.
Okay, let's talk about Lando. I'm dying to.
Okay, so obviously Lando finished P2, which is I was jumping up and down at the end of this race, man, because like I think if I had to pick a driver, and I've like always said this, if I wasn't a Red Bull fan, I'd be a McLaren fan. My favorite driver probably has to be Lando at this point. And when he's in a car, he can actually compete with the rest of the grid. When he's in a decent car,
where did this come
McLaren
from?
Turned this around from 0 to 100. Like we thought McLaren had no shot for years to come. We thought this was the downfall of McLaren at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, there's no reason.
Lando's P2 in Silverstone.
Yeah, and they qualified 2 and 3.
Yeah,
only beaten by Max.
It's insane.
I mean, Piastri, a rookie, P3 beat Lewis.
I believed in Piastri.
I did too. No, I totally did.
I know you're not saying you didn't, but
jeez.
McLaren just really turned it around. I am proud of them. I'm happy because we were worried about everything within McLaren. Zach Brown, which obviously knew what the heck he was doing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Obviously not at the beginning, but they figured out how to turn this car around, and I am so happy. One piece of news that I could talk about now is apparently, this is still speculation, I believe, Lando Norris has signed a pre-contract with Ferrari.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because we were just talking about the driver
For
changes.
when 25?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Lando's contract. Well, he had the longest contract ever at one point. So
yeah.
Yeah,
what he signed a 6-year?
Something
No,
like it was a
5 or
long,
6 year?
long time.
Yeah,
long time. Might have been a mistake, but I mean, it's kind of like what Scottie Pippen did. Like that's like the best.
Yeah.
I'm always referencing
You always
the Bulls
reference
team.
yeah.
It's just a great. There's a great analogy.
The Bulls are always great. Even the red ones.
Boo.
Hey, they're both red.
Speaking of which, at the Silverstone, they have. I sent them a picture of this. They have a club called Red Bull Pole Position, and I was very upset by that. Like you can't name the pole position after yourself. Like, come on.
You can this season.
Yeah. Okay. Has anybody? No, Leclerc got pole once at a street track.
But back to
anyway, Ferrari.
back to Lando and Ferrari.
I just don't see
is
him.
Charles Leclerc going to leave Ferrari? That's the thing, because he's since when he started in Formula One, he had one goal: drive for Ferrari.
Yeah.
And now his other goal is win a championship in a Ferrari car. I don't think he's going to leave Ferrari just because of these past 2 seasons.
I don't know, because like they're more consistent this season, but we'll talk about. They had bad strategy this race. Man, I don't know. This is really tough. I've been thinking about this already. Like, I just don't think he can. I don't think he can leave Ferrari. I don't think it's in him to pull the trigger. Yeah. Now, if Red Bull comes and offers the world and they're still dominant, see, you know what's going to be really sad is Leclerc's going to end up there when Ford takes over, and then watch Ford be bad.
Yeah,
and it's like Leclerc is just cursed for all time.
I honestly don't want Leclerc to come to Red Bull. While Red Bull would be, I feel, super dominant with a good car, obviously. But like you said, if they're not, the first on the chopping block is Charles.
But can you imagine what every qualifying would be like right now if they were in equal machinery? Because Leclerc's already a qualifying beast in an inferior car.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, it would be incredible.
If he had Max's car or Red Bull's car.
I mean, assuming that, there's different driving styles, all this stuff. The car, but like, let's just assume Leclerc is fit for this car.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Be incredible.
Be amazing.
So
we'd have some consistent P1 battles.
So anyway, Lando going to Ferrari, I just don't see it. I just don't. Yeah. I mean, are they trying to get the dream team of Sainz and Lando together at Ferrari?
You think they're keeping Sainz over Charles?
No, I'm saying if Charles leaves.
Oh, if he left, yeah, that's fair.
No, I don't know.
Lando would be.
Lando
be great, but
Lando just doesn't seem like a Ferrari guy to me. He just doesn't.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I don't really see him in anything other than a McLaren right now. Or maybe like
I can see him at Mercedes.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Mercedes.
I can see him at Mercedes.
Sorry, I was thinking of only like Red Bull, Ferrari, and
I think you're going to say all the good teams or something.
No. I mean, obviously because of this weekend.
Yeah,
which you can talk about if you want now.
Yeah. Okay. So Mercedes.
Wait, do you want to talk about Piastri first?
Sure. Let's talk about Piastri. No, we didn't talk about Piastri. All right, P4. I gained a lot of respect for Piastri this weekend and how he acted after getting said P4, which was he was disappointed in it, which is what I want to freaking see.
Yeah.
Like best finish from a rookie in a while, and he's upset about it. Like, I was already thinking, like, all right, McLaren, like, you fought and kind of stole Piastri. Like, it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it for sure. Very impressive. I would say, if I had to guess, because I don't know how good McLaren is actually still. I would say, if I had to guess, they're about Piastri's place, and Lando is making the rest of the difference.
Yeah.
It's still it's still their home track, like Lando's track. Like, it's very hard to tell.
There's a lot of variables.
They're far enough behind Mercedes. I'm not worried about them right now.
Yeah.
But I think they could get Ferrari. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think they could get up to P3 in the Constructors' Championship. I'm going to say that right. I think they could get as far as that.
Who?
McLaren. If they're this good.
I mean, yeah, I actually do believe you because Mr. We will be on the podium for the rest of the season has not been on the podium for the rest of the season.
Wasn't that incredible? They look like crap.
They are P7 to P8 consistent now. I'm going to start calling Alonso Mr. Consistency for being P7.
Mr. Consistency. And he was like, we're going to have better weekends. It's like, no, you're not. So we're talking about Alonso, if you want to go ahead and talk about that real fast. But Piastri, very proud of him. the pit stops kind of screwed him because of the safety car, which I was very happy about.
I'm sure you were. But.
So anyway, let's talk about Alonso since we mentioned him.
It's just a P7 finish. Aston Martin's just not looking as dominant as they were once everybody actually got their upgrades out.
It's a fad.
Yeah.
It was a fad.
I think Aston Martin pumped out everything they had in the beginning of this season.
And they just had a major reduction in wind tunnel time, which is what I was talking about. Yeah.
It's just not I don't think there's gonna be some one-offs, I think, maybe with Alonso getting like P3 again, potentially. But I don't expect too much more from them this season. I expect Mercedes, and I kind of believe you with McLaren. I feel like it's going to be Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren is 1, 2, 3 for the
as it should be.
Yeah, honestly, I'd be
and then
be
Ferrari
ecstatic
P4,
with that.
yeah, like that's how it should be.
Yeah.
So
I could really care less about Aston Martin.
Yeah, dude, no one cares. Dude, okay, their headquarters is so close to the track.
Yeah.
It's literally on the same street, across the street, like they could see it. Like it's ridiculous. I didn't realize it was that close.
Wow.
Mercedes is like a couple miles down the road. I couldn't see in it. They had like trees. I was very sad because I drove right. I was like 100 yards from.
Wow.
Yeah, and I couldn't see it. So, and I passed it twice. So anyway, yeah, Lance Stroll was a menace this race once again. Freaking shoves Gasly off one time, overtakes off the track, doesn't get a penalty, then hits Gasly like a missile, and makes Gasly DNF.
You ever seen those clips of like the like F1 22 and 23s? It's like,
yes,
guess which car is me, and like it's just a missile coming straight for him.
Dude, the man cannot be stopped. He did not finish in the points.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, no one cares about Lance Stroll. I'm just gonna say that. Like, been to 2 races now. That's 10% of the calendar. No one cares about Lance Stroll. I didn't see a single person. People cheer for Alonso. Plenty of people cheer for Alonso.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll, no one cares about him. So P14.
Okay, so finally tell us about Mercedes, because we went to two different teams after starting at Mercedes.
All right,
My
P3 for Lewis after a safety car, which I believe I personally conjured, because I was with my friend Jaden there, and I looked at her and I said, we need a safety car right now. And then like clockwork, right when I said that, a Haas caught on fire. It was glorious because he was totally fine. What did I say?
Performing a ritual in the corner.
Well, I mean, I was trying. I'm not gonna lie. People can hate me. Whatever, you're gonna hate me. But I was really hoping Lando would hit Max and they both crash in the first corner. I know no one wanted that. No one wanted that. I just wanted Lewis to win, okay? I traveled all that way. I got a cold. Like, this
dude wants a Brit to crash at Silverstone.
Not true. I wanted Lando to recover if possible, but just be on the podium behind Lewis. Is that so much to ask for?
Yes.
Okay, well, anyway, obviously I don't actually mean that. I just want Max to crash out on his own and look even stupider. All right, so anyway, so Russell was P5. He got screwed by the safety car. Also, Leclerc, we already talked about him a little bit, which we will in a minute. But Leclerc freaking weaving and bobbing and not letting Russell by and getting no penalty, even though he moved 4 times under braking. And you can only move once. Like, not even a warning. I was so mad about it. And my dad texted me, and he said, even I agree with George Russell right now. And my dad leads the anti-George Russell fan club, okay? Like, he hates George Russell. So, like, if he's sympathizing with Russell,
it's got to be true.
Yes, it has to. It must be true. That's my indicator of whether or not I'm being swayed, is if my dad and I agree on something Mercedes related. So that made me mad. But Lewis on the podium was awesome. I mean, just like, he had a chance at Lando. They pitted and they put Lando on hards and Lewis is on scrub softs. Mm-hmm. And I thought he might get him. And I was screaming my heart out for him. But it was just a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. And this leads me to an interesting discussion, which is McLaren real? So
it's a question to ask. I mean, every time there's been this thing, we talked about this with Mercedes when they started picking up some points. Like, hey, are they back, or is it just a fad?
And I think I would say Mercedes is mostly back. They're not back to being P1, but I would say they're back to being consistent.
They're back to being very competitive.
Also, I saw this on board with Lewis because he went wide on the first corner.
Yeah.
Sorry, the first lap. And I'm biased, but I think Mercedes has to be in the argument for the best driver pairing on the grid because their car looks so crap to drive. Like, just, I'm serious. Like, only a few people could deal with this utter crap that they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. They had so much rear wheel spin that Lewis should have been in midair by the time, like, he got through that corner and somehow he recovered it. So, anyway, is Mercedes and McLaren real? That was McLaren are gods at high speed corners. Lewis said it himself. And we're about to go to a track that is very low speed corner, which Mercedes just brought upgrades for.
Yeah.
They didn't bring a new floor like they were supposed to, and I was kind of pissed about it. But I think it's coming.
Okay.
So with that said, what do you think? Do you think like, if that's true, will Mercedes look way faster? Because even Mercedes are saying that we're expecting some yo-yoing the next couple races where we're so back, we suck. We're so back, we suck. So, I mean...
with McLaren, with Mercedes, like, hopefully, if they've brought upgrades for it, they will be quicker.
In low speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McLaren, though, I mean, yeah, you might be right. This might be something that they struggle with, where maybe they did focus on tracks like Silverstone. Maybe that's why they planned this package for around this time.
Yeah, and they have a lot of data. Like, it makes sense. So, I don't know, man. Like, I'm genuinely curious to see how this is all going to pan out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So, I mean, they're going to be ones to watch. I mean, I hope it's not just a one miracle weekend. It was the chrome livery. I don't know, which was way better in person, by the way. Just gotta say it for the record. When it's going by, it gives it like a vibe. Like when it's sitting still, it looks like crap. But when it's moving, it's like, I don't know, it looks silver.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that when we were talking about it when it first like got unveiled, like how it looked actually on track compared to, because we compared it to pictures of the old on track.
But dude, the Williams with the British flag
look good.
Oh yeah,
good.
My favorite car I saw on like track. It looks so good.
Oh, yeah.
So. Might be my favorite livery of the year.
I do have a question for you, actually.
Okay.
Red Bull has their competition right now for their two, like to pick their two. Which one are you more of a fan of? Are you more fan of like the Stars and Stripes or like the? I don't even know how to describe it.
I know exactly. I'm the Stars and Stripes.
Really?
Yeah, I knew you were going to say the other one though.
Yeah, because this gives Red Bull an opportunity to not be a Red Bull car for once. The Stars and Stripes is very Red Bull.
Yeah.
And
this was probably going to win, though.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah. And they're going to do it again for Vegas. So, which, by the way, they were promoting Vegas like really hard at this race. Mm-hmm. Like in my section, they gave out Vegas bags, and the freaking Blue Man Group was there to give away race tickets to it.
What?
I know, it was so weird, and it was like 7 minutes before the race was going to start, and I was like, I don't care about this right now because I know I'm not going to win, right?
Yeah.
So like. But they were like running through my section going to pick somebody. It was so weird. So like, I don't know why. Like,
that's pretty cool though.
But like, why? I see what they're thinking. Silverstone's the biggest race of the year, whatever. But English people are not going to get on a plane and go all the way to Vegas for a race when they, for the price of one Vegas ticket, not even a seat, just roving general admission is $2,500. They could go to 5 races in Europe and probably with about the same flight costs and all this stuff. Like, there's no reason you would go. I'm sorry. There's just not. Like, I want to go to the Vegas race, but I would never, ever in my life spend that kind of money to go to a race. So I spent less than that on my whole trip, basically. Mm-hmm. So... and I've been planning this trip for years. So anyway, did you ask me a question? I forgot. Oh yeah, Red Bull. I don't know how I got to this.
It's fine.
This is what I do. My brain is like so fuzzy right now because of me being sick. So anyway, Stars and Stripes is what I vote for.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get us back on track, and I'm going to talk about Ferrari.
Okay, let's go for it.
Which is, I'm going to talk about Sainz, who finished just in the points at P10, which is a lot worse than what has been for Ferrari recently. Worked with a two-stop strategy compared to he didn't get the safety car.
Yeah, I know, but the fools and their plan.
And he had old hard tires for the back extent of the race, and they just couldn't keep the pace with the rest of the cars.
Like even Max himself was wondering, why are they pitting? I just saw the Ferrari. Should I be worried? And they're like, nah, just keep driving, Max. So Leclerc finished P9 again. Poor strategy. They got screwed. They got screwed a little, but just their plan. I mean, they said, Carlos, we're going to do plan B. And he said, what's plan B? Like, how
hold up, we'll get back to you.
How do they? And then the engineer doesn't even know.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I think he did know, but I think he didn't want it to be over. Or
oh, you mean
I'm sure they were listening.
Yes. Yeah, the engineer.
I'm sure they knew that like the casters were listening, or like they had like a clip of it ready.
Do you think anybody cares what Ferrari's strategy is?
I mean, probably not, but still.
I mean, maybe like Williams is like, oh, sweet, we're gonna get ahead of them.
Yeah. But think about it. If they said over the radio like, "This is Plan B,"
yeah, true.
Then I mean, other teams like get info from that.
But I know you're right. You're right about that.
And obviously, like you said, probably no one's going to listen to that. But still,
you're right. No, I know you're right, and I thought of that too. But I just can't believe that he said what he should have said was, "We don't want to say over radio." Not, I don't know. Yeah. Be right back. So horrible race for them. Just genuinely terrible. From winning last year to P9, P10. So
yeah.
Back-to-back podiums for Lewis and all that. So
and even
business
worse
as usual.
An even worse race though came from Alpine.
Yeah.
Which you talked about Gasly.
Yep.
So I'll finish off with Ocon, who also had a DNF because of a mechanical failure. He said in the post race that if they would have kept going, they would have caught on fire. So it's tough seeing them, or it's tough for Ocon after seeing a series of decent races from him. So,
and this is a dream day for McLaren because them getting no points let McLaren leapfrog them in the standings, which is exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
So,
tough for them, but
yeah. You know what's also funny is before the race I said I bet only 17 cars finished, and it was true. So, I conjured something. I don't know what was going on, but Williams.
Yeah, sure.
So Albon, Mr. Hero of the season, as I'm gonna start calling him, P8, absolute beast once again, just consistently banging it in, like just super impressive to me. That's all. I mean, that's all I can really say. But Williams looking better. They also threw a fire fan event in London that I tried to go to. I got to go to it, but the wait to see the drivers was ridiculous. I showed up almost 2 hours early, and had already been full for 2 hours just for Albon. And no offense to Albon, but like Jenson Button is the bigger one to see of the two.
Yeah.
He was next day, and I was like, I got no shot at seeing him because I didn't want to throw away. You know, I'm only there for 6 days. I don't want to throw away a whole day. If it was Lewis, I'd throw away a whole day. Yeah, but like I was like, you know what? I don't care as much as these people do. Like, there's people in whole Williams shirt. Like, there's this old couple that's at the very front that's been waiting their whole life to meet Jensen. Like, you know, like I don't want to get in their way.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but they had a cool fan event. I got to do my first simulator experience, like all that. So,
yeah, that sounded. You sent he sent me a picture of it, and it seemed so cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And then I also did the F1 arcade, which when I put the vlog out, which once my voice is better, I will do it because I need to do VO for it. That's voiceover for those of you who don't know. The F1 arcade was maybe the coolest thing of the whole trip.
Wow.
Because the seat vibrated and moved. So like when you would go up on a bank, it would like turn a little bit.
Oh, wow. That's so really
like,
cool.
And it would porpoise, like it did the whole thing.
Wow.
It was so detailed, and it made it easier to drive. Like it made it more instinct.
Yeah.
Because I had never done gear shifts before. Like I just don't play that much. So and now I'm like, I want to build a simulator. Like I'm already thinking about it.
Oh man.
Anyway, Sargent.
Back to Logan. He missed the points by about 4 seconds behind Sainz. I mean, good for the team, I guess, to see him like slowly progressing up the ladder, but hopefully soon we can see a double points for Williams. That would be pretty insane.
I once again believe in Logan Sargent.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I have WDS Williams Solution Syndrome, but I think he can do it. I think he's slowly working up to catch up to Albon, and in that process he's going to get points.
Yeah,
I believe in him. So
Haas had a rough one as well.
Yep. So K-Mag caught on fire. I mentioned that.
Yeah, and Hulkenberg finished P13. He had some damage after a contact with Perez early in the race at turn 4. He was able to get back into the race under safety car, but really couldn't keep the pace with like the DRS train that he was just stuck in. So
yeah,
tough race for Haas.
Alfa Romeo, P12 for Valtteri. Again, like there's just nothing ever to talk about them. They're just kind of milling around out there. I mean, we could say, will Bottas keep his seat? I don't see why he would or wouldn't, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of no man's land at this point. Zhou finished P15. He had to pit like in pretty quick successions, like 3 times in a row. Pitted once before for the safety car, pitted again because he had pitted again to not be in the back of the pack with old hard tires. Then once again because there was a tear-off stuck in his brake duct.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I went, it was on his post-race interview. He said that's really what cost them, or him at least, to not be further up in the points or in the placing. So unlucky for them again. Alfa Romeo's just not looking too hot this season at all. I was like, at the beginning of the season, they seemed, or at, what was it, testing, they were a lot quicker than anything we've seen from them this season. So I don't know what's going to happen.
And you know what? This should also be said too. Congratulations, Joe and you on your first full Silverstone. You know, you didn't get to race last year. So, and I also thought it was super cool that George Russell had all the marshals to the Mercedes factory. Was really cool. They know so many secrets now.
They all go missing next week.
Yeah. And last person, we talked about Nick DeVries, who finished in, what was it, basically last?
P17, yeah. He was last in the cars who actually finished.
And Yuki P16. So they're holding up the back. Red Bull front and back. So
it's an idiot sandwich.
It's an idiot sandwich for sure. So winner and loser, Dawson, what you got?
I think you know who my winner is.
I don't think it can be Max Verstappen.
It is not Max Verstappen. It is Lando Norris.
Duh. Yeah, continue.
Obviously, it's going to be Lando. I mean, just seeing him, the team struggle this entire season, and seeing how happy he was when he got P4 and then a P2. I mean, I'm so happy for him. Loser.
Go on.
Do you want me to give it to you? Or
no, go ahead.
Nick DeVries, obviously.
I'll flip it. It's fine.
Sorry, I pretty much took the best and the worst of this.
No,
one.
You're good. What do you mean? What bad happened to Nick DeVries?
Yeah, it's you know.
Is his career over? Like, I think his career is over. I don't know where he could go. He could be a reserve for Mercedes when Mick gets a seat.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's where he was.
We haven't even talked about that in a minute. Mick having a seat next year.
Mick's gonna get a seat. I don't know where, but Mick's got a seat. Not Haas.
No, there's no way he's going back to Haas.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know where he. I keep thinking he's gonna get
like a Williams seat.
Oh, Alfa Romeo.
Oh, that's fair.
But
he'd probably take Bottas' seat.
Yeah, I would hate to see that though.
Yeah,
but I mean, they have no reason not to do it.
Fair enough.
He's used to running at the back, so and Bottas isn't. So also, none of y'all out there can compare Valtteri Bottas and Checo ever again. All right, the man had over 100 straight Q3 appearances while Lewis Hamilton was his teammate and won 10 races in that time when Lewis was the most dominant. So, like, Checo does not compare to Valtteri Bottas and being like, everybody's like, oh, he's better than Bottas. It's like, no, he's not. Not overall.
Yeah. I
mean, no, Bottas had some screwy races where he would start in P1 and into P5. I'm not denying that. That would happen all the time. He's probably the worst driver at starting a race that I've ever seen. Go back and watch a couple races where he's P1. I'm pretty sure, I don't even know if he's ever led a whole race. I highly doubt it.
I don't know.
It'd be easy to narrow it down. But yeah, pole to pole, I do not think that's the case. Maybe Russia 2019. I can't remember. But anyway, my winner and loser, I'll just flip it. I'll give the winner to Ricciardo.
Heck yeah.
Because and really it does go to Lando for sure. Goes to McLaren. Absolutely stunned the world, I think. All of us were saying their lives were over. Loser, I'm going to give it to Aston Martin. You know, they're just not that was their home race. No, they were the least notable team there, basically. I mean, they only caused issues. I mean, sure, they scored points, but they looked worse than almost every other team other than Alfa Romeo and Aston and AlphaTauri. So, yeah. Also, one more thing we should mention is Do you think that one of the reasons they want Ricciardo there is because they want to help with the rebrand?
Probably. I mean, I don't see how that could hurt it.
Because, I mean, he's got to be the best promo guy.
Any team that's going to get Daniel Ricciardo is going to gain a massive amount of fans, massive revenue from merch.
Sure.
I mean,
I have no idea what they're going to name him. I thought it was going to be Ford, but now that Ricciardo's there, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be Castor Racing. Huh? The shirt's Castor.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, but I hope that Ricciardo stays.
Yeah.
I want him to do well. Imagine if he out qualifies Checo next
the first race.
Yes.
That he's back. I mean, dude, I wouldn't mind it.
Okay, he set on harder tires on a warmer day.
Yeah.
He set a time that was only 0.8 slower than Max's time.
Yeah.
After never being in the car.
Yep.
And his sim time is unbelievable. I mean, I think he's back. I gotta say, like, the hype is there.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the
we said this before. I think his main problem was just confidence.
I think it was confidence, and like they said, he had bad habits from McLaren that he's lost now. So
that's good.
I mean, again, he should have never left. If he just stayed, oh my God, he would have had so much better of a career. You might have been a world champion by now, man. Hot take. I don't know.
Yeah,
beating Max is tough.
Yeah.
But Max was so uncontrolled there for a long time. He was like too emotional. But now he can lose 0.3 a lap on emotional problems and still be fine. So
I do have one more thing of news to talk about. Okay. Formula One announced that they are thinking of adding the Grand Slam Award. Have you seen this?
No.
It's just put out today. Probably like 2 hours before I even got here.
Oh, okay.
Where this award will be given to any driver who took pole and victory in a sprint race weekend and the main event.
Oh, so it's only sprint race weekends.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's just like because Max did it last week, and they're like, oh.
So, like,
how can we do something?
Would it be a trophy or
last week, the week before?
Be a trophy? What?
I think they just said it would be an award, so I'm guessing it'd be like a small trophy or something.
Yeah. But that's a good idea. I'd like the gala at the end of the
yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Because like this is the first time in a while that we've had like an actual competition for like best rookie.
Yeah.
It's not Nick DeVries.
Oh gosh.
What if they gave it to him? Come on, give him something.
Oh.
Have you seen the meme, at the end of the year last year where they wheeled him on the cart?
Yes,
and then they
I've
took
seen
it backwards?
Meme, yes. Where they reverse it and they're like, all right, time to go.
It's so bad. And now he's meeting with Toto and Monaco.
Yeah.
Like, man, what the heck's going on with
Who knows what is going to happen?
Like, do you feel bad for Nick DeVries?
I mean, yes, because
He's brutal.
He's and other than Formula One, he's a decorated driver.
Yeah.
He's won in nearly everything he's competed in, except for Formula One. And I just don't know if it's like, obviously Yuki's been doing all right in the AlphaTauri, but it's not a good car.
But like, how much worse did he do than Yuki in his first season? Like, it wasn't, and like he had the whole
Yuki was
like a dumpster
insane,
fire.
Yeah.
But like, he doesn't bring the sponsors. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, they didn't have Daniel Ricciardo at the time, to be fair. So I don't know, man.
Yuki has 2 points this season.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
So
they should have given him the 4 races. Like, Dr. Marco halfway through Ricciardo's test says, I've seen enough, and like calls and just calls all the shots.
Yeah.
Just brutal, man.
That's Red Bull.
And Red Bull
in a nutshell.
Well, see, they look like hypocrites because I mean, Checo should be at least on the verbally on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, but Checo's so great. I don't know, man.
I think the second Checo is not P2 in the driver standings, that's when they're going to start saying, okay, now it's time.
All right, so I'm putting you on the hot seat.
Oh gosh.
Who is in AlphaTauri's seat next year? Liam Lawson, or do they keep him in the Formula Euro for another year? And is Daniel Ricciardo in this permanent seat? I want you to make a prediction right now. Does Ricciardo stay, or is Lawson in that seat? Those are the options.
Okay.
Or I guess theoretically Checo could end up there somehow, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay. Actually, I'm glad that you mentioned that because it gives me another idea. Daniel Ricciardo is either in that seat or we have a Red Bull swap with Daniel and Checo.
Okay. So that's your call. So Lawson is staying in Euro.
Yeah, I think so. I think until AlphaTauri gets their rebrand done and Red Bull figures out all this crap with Checo, Liam Lawson won't be a part of it. Formula One.
All right, let me throw one more curveball into it.
Okay.
What if Daddy Stroll fires Lance and they say, "Come here, Yuki," and Yuki goes now? Because I mean, at this point, it used to be like, oh, once contract talks were over, we don't talk about it. But now apparently you can just break contracts whenever you want. So.
Yeah. Then Liam Lawson is obviously going to have a seat in AlphaTauri or Red Bull.
Ooh.
It just depends.
They won't put him in Red Bull yet.
Or no. I'm sorry. After Checo, I feel like he would get Red Bull, depending on, I guess, how he does in AlphaTauri. But Ricciardo is either going to be at AlphaTauri. I think he's going to stay there, especially if Yuki goes.
You think Checo won't do bad enough? Do you think Checo's going to finish P2 in the championship?
I don't know. It depends on how well Mercedes is, honestly.
Yeah. Mercedes doesn't look like they can win a
race.
They
are, what, 35 points behind Checo? Lewis Hamilton is?
Yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, 35
but
points.
If it keeps going like this, I mean, I guess theoretically, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't see Max losing a race, man. I think he's going to win the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him losing.
Unless there's rain, which could happen. Spa, come on, you can do it. You know what? I want to see Albon win a race.
That would be nice, actually.
Dude, how incredible would that be? Like, I'm trying to think where you can win it. Monza. That could happen.
It could.
The Monza. Wait. Okay, hold on. We're almost done with the podcast. I swear to God, if you're listening to us. Okay, hold on. The Monza curse. Max won last year.
Yes.
And Williams is incredible in a straight line.
Yeah.
Lando and Albon fight
Didn't
it out.
someone break the Monza curse?
No one has broken it yet.
Really?
No.
I thought it was broken.
No, it's not broken yet.
Oh, okay.
No, the curse that we think is going to be broken is the Bahrain curse, where you finish, whoever wins finishes second in the championship.
Okay.
That one's a longer standing curse, actually.
Oh.
That was like a 6 or 7 year one. But if Max doesn't win the championship at this point, this is going to be the best F1 season we've ever seen. Because, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the craziest F1 season we've ever seen. Because let's be honest, that would mean Lewis won.
Yeah.
That would mean somehow Lewis won, and I do not see that happening. So, me, a guy who is not wearing Mercedes merch right now, but in his soul has a 3-pointed star. So, yeah, okay. I want Albon, and you know what? De Vries had a good Monza last year, finished P8 with a Williams. I'm just saying. All right, so Max crashes out. Albon wins. Simple enough.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I mean, seems simple to me. I mean, McLaren could win too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. McLaren.
But they already had their Monza with Daniel Ricciardo. So, yeah, that's my call. I'm calling it now. You heard it here first.
All right, we'll find out.
If Max crashes, if the curse stays, Albon wins in a Williams. That is my call. Because Mercedes is going to suck that race. I'll tell you right now. They're going to suck. P8 for Lewis. We're going to come back to this when this happens.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, are you looking something up that you want to mention or not?
No.
Okay. Finally, the last thing I want to say is happy 1-year anniversary to our podcast, as we have done every race except for Imola. Oh, wait. Sorry. There's one more piece of news. Did you hear about the Singapore Grand Prix?
Oh, yeah.
I'm very sad. It's my favorite race. Like by a mile. It's my favorite race.
You want to talk about what happened?
Yeah, so apparently the organizer has been caught up in some fraud thing. I don't know though. Even though he's the lead organizer, I don't think if a whole race collapses because of that, it's kind of a soft race anyway. So but this could put it in danger for the future, and again, it's my favorite. I think it's the coolest race. So, it was the original night race. Their Twitter is called @F1 Night Race because it was the only one. So very bummed about that. All right, I will shut up now, despite my throat hurting.
But yes, we have been doing this for a year now. We've been covered every race, like you said, except for Imola, for an entire season, or for half of one season, half of another.
How do you feel? Are you still having fun?
I'm loving this.
Good, me too. But we're quitting. No, I'm just kidding.
And we're done.
All right. Well, that's been it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Look out for more Silverstone related content coming your way. Hopefully the vlog will come out next week because there's a race next weekend. So I'd like it out before then.
Yeah.
And send me your questions about Silverstone. There's some people that send me some stuff because I'm going to do a whole separate video about how to go because it is very complicated, especially if you don't live in England. And even if you do live in England, it's still extremely hard to get to. Yes, I traveled a total of 12 hours just in traveling time on the 3 days, not counting my flights. I'm talking about to and from the circuit. It took 4 hours total there and back. So from London, which is the easiest thing to do. Yeah. So, all right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.